So I decided this week that I was going to try to discipline myself to be more attentive to other people that I encounter on a regular basis. Here I am, we're at this store that we often go to, the one with the very narrow aisles. And I decided this time that going in, I was going to spend time saying hi to people, not in an obnoxious way, but if you're passing by, say hi, good morning, something like that. I have to say to you that on the Long Island Railroad in the morning, not much activity. Even if you said hello or good morning, you were lucky if you got a grunt, and it probably had to do with the fact that they didn't have enough coffee or whatever the case was, but a fair number of people honestly ended up saying hi, or good morning in return, or a smile, right? The ones in the gas station, across the way, you know what I'm talking about. You're putting in gas in the back of your car here, and right over there, there's another person putting in gas in the back of their car. But for some reason, there is no conversation. It's not like there's a sign that says no smoking, but there's no sign that says you cannot talk. And so as you're there, I ended up just turning and saying, oh, hi, how are you? But yesterday in the store, what I found was really intriguing. 90% of the people that you talk to ended up smiling and saying something in return. And it made me wonder why exactly it is that we don't spend our time being much more Christ-like in our daily activities. Society somehow says that we're not supposed to be talking to one another and that we're supposed to be very individualistic and going about our own thing. And so we almost totally ignore other people who bump into our life in everyday activity. But I was wondering how much those people are meant to be Christ to me, and how much I was meant to be Christ in return. And what was the obligation that I had and we have in our everyday life to be different, to act differently than everyone else acts in our society. Jesus shows up in his hometown, and he ends up declaring, as we talked last week, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. This is now fulfilled. The Messiah is here. I am he. Right? And what is the reaction? They think that he speaks wonderfully. But then what do they jump to is exactly what we talked about last week. Isn't this the carpenter's son? How is it now that he's acting differently? How is it that he's behaving different than he was before? Who does he think he is now? And I bring this up because I think part of it for us as Christians is we are sometimes afraid of being fully Christ-like, fully loving, because in order to be so, we would stand out in society. We would. It means that the people you would bump into in a gas station, you would say hi to. People in a store, you would say hi to. Because you're not doing it to be obnoxious, but you are recognizing the God that is in the other person and whose spirit resides there. And we have an obligation to recognize that and to lift each other up in even the simplest ways as a hello. I can't tell you how many people yesterday ended up, with a really big smile when you said, hi, how are you? As simple as that was. It wasn't a great conversation. We were by the cream cheese, there's not much to talk about. But the fact of the matter is that they were responsive. You and I are afraid that by being Christ-like, it's going to make us stand out. And honestly, if we take our commitment to Jesus very sincerely, yes, it is. It is going to change the way we see the world. It's going to change the way we see ourselves and the way we are also dealing with one another. It's going to do that. And it's meant to do that. And I think the fear of sticking out, of standing out, of being different, and also as being judged by other people makes us terribly uncomfortable. And because we all care about what other people think about us. We all care about what other people think about us. We end up very restrictive in our expression of this God who loves us so profoundly that even if we experience it and we know it, showing it is all the more difficult. And yet, as disciples, are we not required to be showing that love that God has for us to one another? And so this week, We trust that the Spirit that has brought us to be Christians continues to challenge us to move outside of ourselves. We take this opportunity, try the discipline. Try it. You know another great place to do this? Waiters and waitresses. Waiters, waitresses, and register people. Checkout people. No one ever talks to those people. It's pretty basic of, is this cash or credit card? That's the conversation. But there's nothing greater than that. But these are people who are tending, they're literally 2 feet in front of you. And we don't really take the time to recognize any of them. And have the server come over who's bringing you water and say, hey, hi, how you doing? How's your day going? And they don't know what to say. They're stumbling over themselves. Not because they're shy, but because no one's ever asked them. You can't tell me that is what is expected of us as followers of the individual who taught about love, taught and left an example of love. It has to be the same for us. And yes, 10% of the people will think that we're crazy. 10% of the people will be terrified that somehow we have an ulterior motive. 10% will think that we're somehow mentally ill and we have issues, whatever the case is. But that's their problem. That's their problem. Try it this week. Try it this week. And let's see whether or not 30, 40, a couple hundred, if all of us are doing this, what kind of difference would it make? And more importantly, do you feel the return of God's love for you in what you're giving? Because I did. God bless you. Hi, just wanted to thank you so much for watching the video. We hope that what you're coming away with is inspirational and a guide for your life. We're really glad you could be part of our community. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so that you can be continually updated with our new music videos, our new sermons, our new services that are published so that you could stay connected with us. Thanks so much again. God bless you.